So guys, it's lovely to have you here on Flicks in the City today, Judith and Harry. Of course, we're here to start talking about your holiday sing-along, which you're taking all around the show, aren't you, starting off in London this weekend. So tell me, what can we expect?
You can expect reverence, but mostly irreverence, because I think we all get so overwhelmed by the Christmas season. I certainly do. That's the reason I started it, is because I'd gone to be with Harry, my beloved here out in America, and I was so fed up with all the perfect weather and how beautiful it all was at the beach. And so I decided that I needed to remind myself of the awfulness of Christmas, you know, as in just like, you know, terrible weather, grey, sadness, fireplaces, no light after 3:30. So I mean, it was that thing of, you know, that's why we love our Christmases. So we started this thing, and it's basically amazing musicians, great company, round the piano. It's old school. It's because I'm basically Welsh in my deepest heart, you see, for real.
Well, you're actually Welsh in every other part of your body.
In every other part of my organisms as well. And so and depressed because of it, as we both know. So so it's around the piano, harmonising. It sounds so corny, but actually it's brilliant. It's why people like rock choir, all these things where people are now singing together. People now realise that actually, isn't that something that we've been doing forever? Isn't there a reason we all love singing together, even if we can't sing? And this is exactly what we describe it as the antidote to Christmas, but it's like the kick-off. A bit early this year in London, but...
And it's always a group of our musical and comedy friends in whichever city we do the show. So in London, it's Maureen Lipman, with whom I've just been touring in a play, Rob Brydon, who's comedy and music wrapped up into one ridiculous person.
Alex Lowe, Barry from Watford.
Barry from Watford.
One of the greatest unsung comic.
Well, we're singing him.
Well, we're singing him, but boy.
Undersung. Barry from Watford will be there. Alice Russell, the great UK soul songstress. Jacqui Dankworth, a great jazz singer. Her husband, the ridiculously talented Charlie Wood from Memphis, Tennessee. Kiki D.
Kiki D is coming on to do some incredible R&B at Christmas time, which we love to have. And then we have a bit of classical with this wonderful friend of mine, classical cellist and remarkable woman, Gabriella Swallow, who's just going to... I mean, it's just that cross-section.
Danny Thompson, the legendary bass player, is playing with us. So it's a great show. And then after all of that, everybody does one or two numbers themed to the holidays. I do a song by the American singer-songwriter Jill Sobule that speaks to the unity that we all feel at this time of year, which is called "Jesus Was a Dreidel Spinner."
I'm going to hold this for a second because I'm scared you're going to pull it away from me again. So I know, it's just because I can't stop talking. That's the problem. I know we're married, Harry. What can we do? So, but the point was, of course, it's sort of we're trying not to make this isn't like a going to church. This isn't a Christmas. This is a religious situation. This is just that great sense of fun and beautiful music, but. Literally, it started in our house. Mm-hmm. It was a fun thing. Then we got asked to do it in Walt Disney Concert Hall, and because they'd heard about this incredible party, and the next thing it had been Katrina had happened, and so it began as a money raiser. And the first place was in Walt Disney Concert Hall in LA, and now we're doing it in about. What is it, 5 or 6 cities? Yeah. You can name them, Harry.
I will in a moment, but this is a benefit in this particular one for the Philippine Typhoon Relief Fund of the International Red Cross. And then as we go across America, we'll be doing New York at Brooklyn Academy of Music, December 7th. Philadelphia is the 8th at World Cafe Live.
Largo is LA is the Largo Coronet Theatre in...
Hollywood on December 14th.
December 14th. That has got a cast of people that it's just shocking to me how amazing it will be.
But forget about it; it's sold out. So forget about it. So forget about LA.
I know.
Then we go to Chicago. Space.
It's actually
Evanston, Illinois. This beautiful club called Space in Evanston on the 19th.
Yeah.
And then we finish up as we normally do in New Orleans with 2 shows at the Ogden Museum on the 21st and 22nd. And as I say, in each city, it's different players, different people that are our friends in each city. But the point I was going to make is after the interval, all that happens before the interval. At the interval, Judith recommends that the audience go get liquored up. And then she sort of browbeats them into singing Christmas carols and gives them crap prizes. So it's a complete evening.
To be fair. True.
Well,
yeah. But
To be fair, it's true.
it is true. But to be fair, or should I say, our assistant finds crap presents all year long for me, and I've devised a way of making people misbehave in the best imaginable way, which is by doing the 12 Days of Christmas as a well, basically you're competing, so I divide the audience up into 12 sections, and you have to mime as you're singing it. And each of the days, and the more gratuitous and lewd it gets, the more I like it. Obviously, 8 Maids a Milking is a big one. I can't even tell you what people do to each other, but the prizes are just absolutely crap awful. And I think that's part of the joy.
It is.
Well, that's one part of Christmas, isn't it? You know, when you open something and it's really, really not what you wanted, those awful presents.
Correct.
And it's interesting you touched on presents, because you also mentioned, and you touched on lewd behaviour, because I saw you mention that on Post. You promised people lewd behaviour and prizes. And
Yes.
I kind of wondered what Reverend Lovejoy might say about that, Harry, if he came across that situation where people being promised lewd presents at Christmas.
Well, they're promised crap, as I understand it, crap presents for lewd behavior. I think lewd presents for crap behavior would be an interesting switch on that idea, and we might have that at a church social now and then. I'll have to look into that.
Now, you touched on some of the songs that you sing at the event. What are your favourite moments of the evenings?
I do love to see Harry do Jesus was a dreidel spinner for obvious reasons. And I personally like doing Christmas with the Devil, that Spinal Tap classic, with Harry as a jazz standard. And I think there are 12 Days of Christmas is pretty much as insane an event as it can get. You can't believe what you're watching. I know people probably watching this think like that guy once said to us, I would rather stab my own eyes out than go to this evening, because I'm sure it sounds
Dire.
frightening, dire and frightening, but
It's huge fun. And I should say, Judith is emphasizing the fun part of it, but she wrote a beautiful song called The Dancing Tree, which is about her learning to decorate the tree when she was a child. And it's a very moving, beautiful song, and that sort of ends up Act 1. So there are moving, sincere moments as well as the laughter. So we veer back and forth between the two. I think that's sort of what makes it. It never gets goopy, but it never gets totally out of control.
yeah, it's that thing where it's exactly what Christmas is. It's like that. I find Christmas to be so bittersweet. I want it to be, as we all do, brilliant. The expectations are so high. It is so moving to me because of my childhood memories of it. It's something when I see all the fairy lights and all the decorations, I do literally tear up. And at the same time, I find it so hard. And I think people struggle at this time of the year. They really, really do. And I think what everybody needs is a good bit of release and singing and getting to feel, but getting to laugh too. Two biggest things, I think: singing and laughing. I mean, that's really it. And drinking.
Oh yeah, don't forget that. 3 big things,
3 big
definitely. Now, what do you guys enjoy most about working together when you're on that stage?
We argue much less than when we're in real life. We're so much more on the same wavelength when we're working together than when we have to actually put up with each other in normal life.
In the kitchen, say.
Yeah.
For example.
For example.
Or anywhere.
Yeah.
But Harry and I get on exceedingly well when we work together, and people are always saying, the usual things like, "Oh, you guys are great together,"
You must be laughing 24 hours a day.
This is the reaction. It's like, I look about as, affect off as a human being can affect. You can say that.
Absolutely.
So we love to work, and we love to laugh, and we love music, and Harry's a great musician as well as being incredible.
And Judith, when the famous doyen of online journalism, Arianna Huffington, met Judith first.
Let me do it.
Okay.
No, we'll do it together.
All right.
Arianna, just as a little understanding, she's this incredible Greek lady, a politician. She's
a mistress of online.
Yeah, of
online
Huffington Post.
News aggregation.
And Arianna, forgive us for this, but because we love you so much. But we've since then had Arianna offs, where we try and see who can do her voice the best. So this was the line. She said, "Judith,
have you always been this funny?
or was it something that happened after you met Harry?" So
There it is.
there it is, right? Hi.
So if those of you who have had the good fortune of seeing What's with Honey Poo Poo on YouTube may have seen Judith's funny side, where she depicts a not toothless, toothful, to be fair.
White. These the opposite of these.
Yeah, white trash mama of a sub-teen beauty queen with a problem as she is, as the mother says. She's got all the pageant knowledge in her brain, but not the toilet knowledge.
She's got all the pageant knowledge, but not the toilet knowledge.
Where did that idea come from? Because that's not at all like anything in reality.
No,
At all.
no.
Because Harry is so superior to me in so many ways, and mostly intelligence. He and the knowledge.
The knowledge.
You're so above me in the knowledge, and I feel like I'm like that the lioness that brings home the kill for the male. He just lies there and sort of like puffs up.
Beautiful.
And he no, it's gorgeous. And so so I feel like I'm always showing Harry utter wretched, terrible stuff that I find on terror. And that's the whole point, is that I find the worst stuff I can find. So he brought me American pageant queens, and the talent section of pageants, which I've never ever got over in my entire life. It's so good.
Of the original, like the Miss America pageants, the state beauty pageants, I was getting all of the state beauty pageants for a while by satellite, and they would have these ridiculous talent competitions that were egregious is to compliment them too highly.
Like woman wearing her talent was she wore red leather head to foot, everything, and wore, it was all fringe and red leather, and then she played Flight of the Bumblebees on the glockenspiel.
Okay.
And that just makes you go. But the singing is singing.
Well, the one that we cherish, and I put up on YouTube, as a matter of fact, is a woman called Missy Pitts, who was in her second try at Miss Mississippi, was singing, as it was described by her interlocutor, the Barbra Streisand 1970s style song, the main event, and it's not a lot of notes in the song. She misses all of them.
So
it's pretty good.
And she's already singing like, "The rain over," is what it sounds like.
Now, if Missy is watching, we love you, Missy.
We love you. You're fabulous. So we love the horror.
So
facts.
Judith comes back with Honey Boo Boo and says, "Well, you got to see this."
No, yeah. What's with? No, it's here comes.
Honey Boo Boo.
Which one is it? I'm
Honey
so
Boo Boo.
connected. See, I don't even know which one is ours.
Honey Boo Boo. She comes with Honey Boo Boo.
And I said, "Look at this," and I stood there smugly, and Harry just looked at it and thought, it is, it's the fall of the Roman Empire, basically. And the two of us looked at each other and said, it just can't get any worse, can it? And then we thought, no, it can.
Yes, it can. And that's how it started.
It can.
Will there be any more Honey Poo Poo?
I hope so. I mean,
Before she gets too old, before she reins it in.
I got two big foam suits, big immenso suits, marvelous fat suits, made. So I feel it'd be a real shame to hang up
the fat suit.
Hang up the fat suit and the bad hair. You know what I mean? I think it'd be a crime.
Yeah.
But I said earlier, there's nothing more wonderful than
Did you finish the sentence? Or
it's like the slow talkie Americans,
yes,
isn't it? Yeah. There's nothing more wonderful than being egregious and an awful person as a character. It's why we love Ab Fab. It's why we love those kind of characters. I mean, there's nothing funny about nice people and cute, lovely, pretty people. It's like these really offensive, egregious people. There's the end of my sentence.
I would say, in summation, that there's a whole world left to soil.
Okay, I see where you were going with that. I know what you're setting me up.
I love it. Well, to be continued.
Perhaps.
Talking before about the holiday sing-along, and I wondered how you would describe each other's style when it comes to singing and performing on stage.
Harry's this incredible radio show called Le Show that's been going for nearly 30 years, coming Sunday, correct? Amazing, glad I looked that up. And I would say that his satirical songs, because that's really what he is, and an actor and a comedian and a writer and all the rest of it, but as I always see you as being a satirist. And so Christmas time, Harry it writes a brand new song, which is something about what's going on in the world. And can we spill the beans?
Yeah.
I think you should.
Do you know who Rob Ford is, the mayor of Toronto? Mm-hmm. So I've written a very, very, I think, very pretty tribute to Rob Ford called The Yuletide Snows of Toronto. Which,
I don't know what that might refer to.
no, I have no idea. These are the snows that tickled your nose. The Yuletide snows of Toronto is the last line.
You know, that guy is a gift to the world. I've never seen a train wreck like this. This just makes me so happy. It's like every day he's doing something appalling.
Yeah,
It seems to be getting bigger as well. It's the other.
this week is a disappointment because he hasn't been in the news yet, but
I know.
it's only
And
Wednesday.
Exactly. There's still time to
There's
go.
still time.
It's the gift that keeps giving. I mean, this is our Christmas present, I think. So I expect Harry to do something unbelievably smart, greatly satirical, very much topical. That is, that's part of to me. Part of the show, and I am, because I'm Mistress Christmas and I'm such a bossy booze, there's a bit of panto in me. There's a bit of panto hiding. So
It's behind you.
it is behind me. Ouch. So I get to be bossy on stage, and Harry basically, it's like our marriage. We just bicker on stage, and Harry gets to basically look at me in horror and at the stuff that's coming out of my mouth.
But as a performer, Judith, when she sings, like she'll sing the Christmas song, she has no, that's wrong. Nice the way I did that. And the dancing tree, the aforementioned dancing tree. And she can make you weep. She's a very emotional, not overly dramatic or melodramatic by any stretch of the imagination, but just legitimately soulful, heartfelt singer. So there is that too.
But, I think that's why we both like to laugh so much, because we're really serious. I mean, there's obviously nothing of that has shown itself in this entire interview, but we are at heart really, really serious about what we do, and quite serious, and probably, quite dark people, and that's why.
Dark people. Yeah, sorry.
It's lovely. So, what dark people love dark people.
Have no reason to
dark
live,
people
yeah.
have no reason to live. Yeah. That we are, and I think that's why it's a beautiful blend. I do.
Now, Judith mentioned 30th anniversary of the show, your radio show, and you've also got another anniversary coming up next year, haven't you, for a little thing that I don't know if many people will have heard of, called Spinal Tap.
Yeah. One hears that it may be coming around to the 30th. All I can say about that is that if any band in the world would get the chronology of the 30th anniversary wrong, it might well be Spinal Tap. So they might not be right on the money with the celebration, but it'll be coming eventually.
I'm biased, but I was biased before I met you. It really is truly the greatest film I believe that ever made about music business. It is the music business.
Oh, I thought you were going to stop after Ever Made.
Now he's insulted.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, in all fairness, Citizen Kane, but Citizen Kane, in fairness, But no, I don't have to say that.
Can we expect a reunion anytime, do you think? Do you think you guys will be getting back together?
Well, I think that would be, we are reuniting under the banner of Monty Python. I think you heard that announcement, so we'll be going out as Monty Python and making a lot of money that way. But
and you also be reuniting at the LA Christmas show.
well, that's right. We will. Michael, Chris, and I will be performing Christmas with the Devil acoustic style at the Christmas show. But yeah, I think the performing will be part of whatever we do eventually at whatever the 30th anniversary turns out to be, because we love to play. We still love to play.
Now, I wondered if we could hear from some of your best-known characters from Simpsons and what they might think of this holiday sing-along that you're going to be doing all over the States and the UK this
Well,
week.
C. Montgomery Burns is appalled by the idea because it involves the giving of cash. It's not something I'm used to doing. I take in cash. It doesn't go away. I attract it. I do not repel it.
I think Ned Flanders would be overjoyed to see you giving your tribute to our Lord and Savior in your own particular way. You could do a little less of the laughter, a little more of the do a little more of the show on your knees this year would be a good idea, don't you think? It'd be a blessing.
And how do you think Kent Brockman might report on the evening?
This just in, comedy and music take the stage in London and around the world this holiday season, and I, for one, will not be there.
Ken Brockman,
What? Kent Brockman what?
Well, the volume is unbelievable, isn't it? It's just
Amazing.
shocking. It is shocking.
I come from the days before we had microphones, as you know, Judith. Early television, we couldn't afford microphones. We just yell loud enough so they'd get the picture and they'd listen through the window.
And that's a true story, folks.
It is a true story.
Now, Judith, as well as, of course, the sing-alongs, you've got an album coming out as well, haven't you? And you've released a single recently too. Tell me about that.
Yes, I just I did a duet with the fabulous Julia Fordham, who's a dear friend of mine. We both live out in America as well as here, and we were looking for something really scrummy and yummy to do for Christmas, because she's like the core person in our Christmas show, and for the first time, in 8 years, she actually isn't going to be touring with us or at any of these shows because she's doing her own run in London. And so we thought, you know what, let's do that thing that we've longed to do together, which is to duet together, and we're thinking of doing something in future. And let's do White Christmas. Let's make it another good thing. Let's do it for the Red Cross, the
International
Red Cross Philippines Relief Fund. As you know, the money's from the London show, the sing-along, and going to that completely it's going to be going from the American shows and also to the New Musicians Clinic of New Orleans. But it was, again, you don't want to be sickly sweet, as you probably noticed if you saw the video. I just thought, you know what, and we agreed, it's such a gorgeous song, it makes us all want to have a glass of red wine, a pint of sherry, and just collapse on the fur rug in front of an open fire blazing. And then we thought, wouldn't it be fantastic if we actually did have a bit of a laugh at our own expense? One must. So we asked the fantastic Jennifer Coolidge, who is a goddess, come on, there's no sexier woman who can be so overtly sexy and yet so extreme and subtle in her ways, but she's so much larger than life. It's incredible. So
funny, but we should say funny.
Sorry, that's what I meant by larger than life and extreme and incredible. I meant she's a goddess of a comedian. She really, really is. So she came in and did a cameo at the in our video, which I think is absolutely kind of a trouser-soaking moment for me. I'm not going to give away anything that goes on, but both things are available, as in you can get that for free, and the song is on iTunes. My own project that's coming out next year, I'm very, very excited about, because it's been a dream of mine since I, was a kid here in London growing up and listening to people who influenced me as a singer-songwriter, like your James Taylors and your Carole Kings.
There's more than one James Taylor?
Your James Taylors, your Carole Kings.
Here's a couple of Carole Kings right over here.
Carole Kings. I was getting really deep and meaningful, and you just ruined my line there. So anyway, so yes, I was listening to the individuals, not the group of each people. So, and I love the musicians so much. I just thought, that vibe, that sound had such an influence upon me. And then the light went on in my, over my head, and I just thought, well, hang on, why aren't I actually recording with those guys? I've been doing this thing and having this sound for all this time. So basically I went back to the source and I invited some of the original members of the James Taylor and Carole Kings band, which is Russ Kunkel and Leland Sklar and Wally Wachtel, and we've made quite, I think, amazing, I'm very proud of it, record, and we will be coming over here to London, and we will be touring throughout America, and we're doing some private listening things starting in February, March, and then we'll be on the road, and I feel like it's a real dream come true working with men like that, and I've never felt so happy in the studio, and it's sort of, what a joy going on the road with those guys, it's a piece of history for me.
Absolutely, fantastic. Are you looking forward to seeing Jesus on stage with those guys?
I am so looking forward to it, because Judith is never happier than on stage.
She's never happy.
No, well,
yeah,
never happier than when she's on stage performing, and especially with these guys. I mean, we've known Lee. Lee has worked with me and a couple of my little comedy music tours, and so I know from personal experience what a joy it is to turn around and see, not only to hear him giving you that musical foundation, but to turn around and see that presence on stage. He's a beneficent presence on stage, and he makes you feel so calm and so cool and so wonderful. So I envy her for being able to do that.
It's when you hear music and it's influenced you as a kid, and then you're playing and recording your songs and you're hearing that sound, that feeling on your music, it's really quite something. I mean, I do get all emotional about it, but I think these are amazing people. They're amazing musicians, and I really feel incredibly fortunate and lucky to be working with them.
I can see you can have an incredible experience, definitely.
Yeah, I can't wait to get on the road with them. I can't wait. Can't wait.
And Harry, what's next for you?
I did a television series that's just going out on Sky Arts here in England, in the entire United Kingdom, unless Scotland goes away, called Nixon's the One, which will be going out early next year. Sort of Judith talking about dream projects. This has been a dream project of mine to take sort of the goofiest, craziest moments from the Nixon White House tapes. He was one of the most bizarre persons ever to occupy high office in the world since probably one of the Caesars. And he's done us the huge favor of tape recording almost his every waking utterance so we can plow through it to see just how interesting he was. And so my partners and I have culled the transcripts for the really most bizarre, funniest, strangest moments. This has nothing to do with politics or Watergate or Vietnam. It's not a history show, it's a comedy show. But it's all verbatim, and a wonderful cast of people play all of the henchmen and henchwomen. And then we've shot it as if he had hidden not only microphones but cameras all around the Oval Office, so it looks like stuff you were never supposed to see. And so I'm very proud of that. We go out with that in January. And then this play that I've been in with Maureen Lipman
Daytona.
and John Boat called Daytona, written by Oliver Cotton, the actor Oliver Cotton. Wonderful play. May, in fact, be coming to the West End. So fingers crossed.
What was the most mind-boggling thing you found about Nixon when you were combing through those tapes? Because I imagine there were some doozies that came up there.
He was quite ecumenical in his hatreds. You're always amazed. One knows a few of his prejudices, but he just was so full of these burning resentments and hatreds, and they just sprayed all over the place. But I think the thing that, and it's in the first episode of the series, that one keeps going back to is the strangeness of his relationship with a man who's still alive, for God's sake, Henry Kissinger, sort of a famous icon of, depending on how you see it, either international strategy or war crime. But both very smart people, both really fascinated with power, both feel like they're using the other. Nixon, not really fond of Jews. Henry, one of the few Jews he allows in his cabinet. Nixon, notably full of contempt for people from Harvard. Henry is Mr. Harvard. I was at the 100th anniversary of Nixon's birth. A friend of mine sneaked me into this celebration in Washington earlier this year, and Kissinger is there, 89 years old, gives a speech. And of course the thrust of his speech is how Nixon was great because he really let me run things. And it's just, that's it. And the two of them, it's like two black widow spiders circling each other at all times. It's a wonderful thing to watch.
Fantastic. We look forward to that. So much to look forward to from both of you.
Well,
albums, tours,
I know.
shows.
I'm hoping to...
It's world domination.
I feel so good because for the longest time I was like, there's so many things that you could do, but in Britain as well, with the kind of the sense of the comedic sense here as well. I always felt that Harry would really fit in well too, and so I'm thrilled that you got to do the Nixon project.
Yeah, I don't think
it's really very. I'm not sure America you might have been done it this way. I'm not sure they would have done it.
Yeah, I always thought that if we tried to do it in America, I'd be having these meetings with people who were saying, "No, I know he doesn't like black people, but does he have to hate Jews too?" Come on, this is the real stuff. We can't rewrite it now. So we God bless the Sky people. They let us do it, and these are people actually in the sky. I don't know how they live up there. They've solved the whole gravity problem. But they let us do the show exactly as we intended, and so that's rare. That's rare that from first thought to last look at the tape, it's everything as was intended. So
it's kind of
amazing.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's it's like the Nixon project, and then hopefully Daytona will get it go into the West End, and then my record, by the way, is called Ebb Flow. I forgot to mention that, Ebb Flow. That comes out in April, and then from that point onward, who knows? But it will be busy until next year's sing-along comes and bites us up the bum yet again.
Before we know it will be the time.
and we'll be sitting with you again, going, "What happened to you?"
Yeah.
Guys, it's been lovely talking to you. Enjoy the sing-alongs here and in the States as well. I'm sure everyone will be there having a fabulous time.
Thank you so much for having us. Thanks.
Thank you.
My pleasure.